Hello and welcome back, guys. So in this session we're going to talk about adapting the skin flow. So where we're going to adapt the text layers which we're going to create according to the flow of the skin, and writing over a path. So we're going to use the text and the pen tool together and combine them to adapt the skin flow. So and then we're going to talk about creating multiple lines of typography. And then we're going to talk about an important issue which you might be practically facing when you're doing typography, that is, you're jumping text between the paths. So let's just dive into the session then. We were talking about the flow of the skin here. In order to adapt to the flow of the face, we have to write the text according to the flow. So let's say I'm having a particular some kind of a text here, and if I want to I'm just having some rubbish here, and if I want to just place it over the head, and if I keep something like this, it's just a straight line and it doesn't follow the flow of the skin. So how do I do that actually? So in order to do that, we need to go under a separate process here, which is using our pen tool, and we're going to draw a particular shape, and we're going to write over the shape itself. So I have taken this pen tool here, and when we take a pen tool, we need to understand one thing, that there is an option here called as shape and path. So if in case you're having the option as shape, which means that's not right. So when you do it, you get a particular color filled in or something is happening there. So which I wouldn't suggest that. So just go ahead and change it to path, which is nothing but a simple path here which doesn't actually have anything. So let me just start with the eyebrows here. So I'm just gonna have something like this. So before starting, I would just like to say this, that when we're talking about denser typography or less denser typography, here I'm going to use a much denser typography because I would prefer giving some details to this mustache, to the facial hairs and all. So I'm going to use more number of lines here. So let me just start doing this, probably something like this. Yep. So I have a simple line here. Now just click once outside, and I'm going to take my text tool and just hover my mouse over there, and you would notice that the text layer is changing there. From the box, it just changes to no box. So just click once there, and you would notice if I start typing something, it's too big. So I don't want this bigger fonts. So let me go to my text layer, text panel. You would notice that the font size is 60, which is too much, way too big. So just change it to 10 or something. Let's see how it looks. 10, I think 10 is even too much. So let me change it to like 8 or something. So let me type some rubbish here. I have something like this. So let me just type some rubbish here, and the first thing I need to do is I need to fix the font first. So I'm not going to use this. This is not my final font. So let me change the font to something else here. So let me go to the first font option. So just select this drop down, and you'll get all these different font options here. So let me just select the first one, and you notice, let me just select the first one here, and you would just notice now I'm highlighting the first font, and when I just press the down arrow key, you would notice the second font, whichever is there, is being visible now. So I can just keep selecting the fonts. So the Photoshop just suggests me what all fonts I can use here. So I think this should be enough. As a dreamer, I think. So let me just take the move tool and see how it looks. No, I'm not satisfied with that. So just double click and see if any other font suits better. Okay, this looks better. So let me check something else is there. I just need a bolder font because, as I already said, we're gonna look through the letters. So the letters should cover more space. Yeah, I think this should be fine. Okay. So we have this particular font here. So what I'm gonna do now is, the next thing is I'm just gonna draw another line here. So let us just be as close enough to the previous text line there, and let me just select it from there, and just put a line like this, because you would notice that the eyebrow is actually coming till here. So maybe I can just still pull it till here, something like this. Okay, so now let's take the text layer now, and now when I select here, I can start typing my text layers there. So there is one other important thing which we need to know, that when we, for example, if I came out of this particular pen tool and the text tool, when I took this move tool, you'd notice that the shape, the path which I drew is not visible anymore. So how do I get it back? So in order to access these paths whichever we created, we need to go to this path window which you see, which is next to this layers, channels, and you have this path. So here we have this work path, and the work path is nothing but the path which we have created. So let me take this text tool now, and I can just again go ahead and start typing. You might come across a very important issue here, that when you hover the mouse here and we just click once, instead of selecting this particular path, at times it might get to the second one which is the below one. So right now I was just so cautious that I shouldn't click the below one. But at times what happens is, when you just, let me show you too, when I take the text tool here, and if I just come here and just click just like that, you would notice it just jumps to the other path layer. So you might miss the path whichever we have created right now. So you would notice the other path is being selected there. So let me just go back to this one, and I just want you to be cautious that you have to select the right path, and you can just type something here. All right, so that's it. So I have this particular text layer there.